Hello Internet, and welcome to the show! Today I want you all to remember a time when you had this anime you liked so much that instead of looking through your daily grind of spoiler forms, you decided to sit back and try to figure out the mystery on your own. Yet at the same time, be amazed by how you love the series with tropes you would rather forget. No! Down girl, down! Badmintoka Magica! Jeez, just because you're popular doesn't mean every mysterious thing that happens comes from you. Rude. Anyway, let's introduce the actual anime for today. School Life, super cute facade of moe madness with clever direction, or straight to manga disappointment? Well, let's just hope and see, shall we? Takia Yuki is in love with her school. For her, it's a wonderful place where she enjoys her activities, especially the activities of her club, the School Life Club. The club has Ri-chan as the president, Kurumi-chan as another member, and their teacher Megane, who is always watching them from afar. Yes, she is in love with her school. In her mind. Because for her, the reality of the school and their club activities are too hard to be perceived. School Life was a very interesting surprise that came out in 2015, a surprise that not only won our award for Best Thriller, but personally for me brought back a sense of intrigue I've been longing for. Episode 1 is a great example because on the surface it lures you in with a facade of what it could be, but slowly reveals it to be something else entirely, being drawn out to a psychological journey with a zombie apocalypse formula. They use the moe elements in such a smart way too, using its platform to both raise the tension of the more emotional scenes while combing the slow progression scene in moe and thriller to create some really jarring situations. Think of the show like a record player playing a smooth instrumental song, and its playback would occasionally jerk off into an off note. Or better yet, when you're eating a bowl of cereal and you don't realize you accidentally used slightly soured milk, so the meal tastes a bit funny. In short, this feeling of off-kilter with slow crept-up moments is what this show was going for. And you know what? I'm really liking this cute psychological dark combo that's coming out of the anime industry. We watch these 4 girls, their teacher and school pet, having to cope with all of this turmoil while trying not to lose themselves in the despair around them. The first half was more dedicated to confirming the state of each character's mind, while the latter half tries to answer some of the more story-heavy questions, all while slowly coming to terms with their future. With thanks to the slow progression, it takes time to ask questions frankly a lot of other zombie shows don't ask, like how or why is a high school so well equipped for a situation like this? But I think my favorite aspect of the show has got to be the significance of weight of decisions when dealing with the zombies. Taking what I just said into comparison to High School of the Dead, because eventually this was going to be referenced to it anyway. It seems so weird for the sake of progression that it was so easy to kill off the other humans, even if they are, you know, zombies. But School Life is very different in that it takes extra time to highlight the nature of the world's zombies and how most, even in death, still go on to some sort of schedule by memory. This may be a small detail, but I'm telling you, this plays really important roles later on and it saves the show's logic by a lot. At the end of the day, it's not as easy as it sounds because we are all still human. We aren't some natural-born vigilantes with matrix physics boobs. We have feelings and we just can't help it sometimes, which to the show's credit really adds some depth to the story. As for its negatives, without really nitpicking, there are mainly 3. One is that towards the middle of the show, the moe hits a rough patch. Some scenarios like the chasing after Homaru or the beach episode, yes, there is one of these beach episodes. It felt overplayed. True, the moe aspects are needed for certain things, but it wasn't executed well all the time. 2, because the show is already geared towards slow progression episodes, when the show had its rough patches, its slow nature felt dragged, kinda counterintuitive to what it was previously excelling at. I'm not saying that the show should have less moe entirely, but it could have more variety as the cute girl antics' goals are to distract the audience from the little clues that they were leaving in plain sight. And as for 3, well, without going so much into spoilers, after about a certain episode in the series, the way they revealed an important plot twist came off a bit on the lazy side. And not just because it felt a bit too early, but rather, for a show that wants to give very subtle clues, it just felt a little, eh. As a viewer, the characters were a joy to journey with. Even with only 12 episodes, we got enough of each girl's, and dog's basically, moe and non-moe perspectives to flesh out an emotional story. Overall, I'm happy to say that not one character was useless by any means, and whether they were the pinnacle of the story or the source of different perspectives, everyone did their part. With Yuki, she alone can make up for half the mystery behind what's going on in the series. Being the character that we follow the most, Yuki's character is an ever-struggling inner conflict as she transforms from cutesy childish sturdier to a character who's trying her best to grasp her emotions and situation. While Yuki does come off as distracting, she is also the glue to their entire group, for her antics kept them going emotionally. She proves that in order to survive any grim situation, you need more than just physical endurance, but mental and emotional strengths as well. The moe was Yuki's special power that uplifted the girls and the audience sometimes when the feels train really rolled in, and I appreciated her for that. It shows moe can be done to grow characters than to simply make them glitter with happiness. If Yuki's job on the team was emotional stabilizer, then Kurumi was a self-designated Rambo commando with her shovel-kun of doom. I'm still cracking up to how many times the characters, i.e. Yuki, kept trying to ship the poor girl with it. I know we're all in a zombie apocalypse, but we as a humanity hasn't gone that far down the Oh, never mind. Like everyone else, Kurumi has her own reasons for how she survives the situation, but it can be summed up as a way to put these once rational people to rest, and someone has to do the dirty work. Even with her shovel, I feel like it's a symbol for her desire to bury her emotions from what had happened, and while it doesn't go smoothly all the time, especially with the stuff that happened at the stuff with the stuff, she's at least trying to persevere. But sometimes her adrenaline rush could lead me away from the logic of the show. But hey, a zombie flick wouldn't be complete without a Rambo Shovel Knight mowing down all who stand before them. Next is Yuri, the designated mom of the series. With her title mannerisms and signature closed eyes, Yuri is the student leader of the school life club, trying to both plan out their survival with gathering missions and morally boosting them up when Yuki isn't around. She keeps the group focused on goals, and if it wasn't for her, the order of this entire force would go unstable. But what I like most is that when Yuki isn't around, her colors truly shine through, with her being an overwhelmed teenager being the foundation of a group that she herself has no idea if they're even gonna last that long, while she instead puts up a vague illusion that everything's going to be okay. But she, in truth, has the least amount of survival gusto and resolve when it comes to short, on-the-spot risky decisions. And this plays the fact even more down the line, when the audience really learns how big those shoes she has to fill. Hint, hint. True, she will feel obligated to keep watch at night if need be, but in my opinion, if the zombies ever did come in, she would probably be the first or second person to bite the farm. But that's completely fine since she does play to her strengths like everyone else plays to theirs. Finally, we have Miki, who is not just the only one who didn't start the apocalypse at the school, but her outside influence is a good semblance for the audience. As an anime-only watcher for this series, I kinda like how she was introduced. It wasn't panned out to the inevitable episode, but the order in regards to this was more interesting since it added to the endless list of clues for the audience to follow. Either way, Miki is the detached outsider of the group, and while you may think that's a moral flaw, the show handled Miki's role quite well because using the fact that A, unlike adults, youths in anime tend to stick closer together, with the moe in particular being again a great factor. B, Miki can accomplish things and barriers that are not emotionally or psychologically achievable from the other three, and she's a jack of all trades, if you will. She has her happy moments despite letting her logic being her main priority. She is willing to take risk if it will give a good benefit, and like Yuri, she is calculative and asks those questions. Now, if only she could be good with dogs. Conclusively, every girl here was a joy to watch, both individually and together, with the show really using their togetherness to tie up all the loose endings in a cute little bun. Interesting. For once, I have more to say about the animation than the normal statistics, but it can be summed up as a creatively interactive experience. As I stated before, this anime invites the viewers to play along at home as they look for clues around the show that makes the world and characters seem off. I mean, the first 10 minutes give out a lot about the entire series, if you know where to look. Along with the eerie feelings of the happy background slowly turning creepy, it's a nice mix of eeriness overall. The show will not disappoint any inspiring animation theorists out there. With its colored detailed backgrounds and the eye for intrigue little Easter eggs here and there, it's no wonder this is a Lerche anime. They lately have been killing it with the creative pan shots and atmosphere, huh? My problem with Lerche isn't really the animation, but rather the projects they choose to work on. I mean, one minute they are animating 2015 Extraterrestrial Sensei of the Year, which totally kicks some ass. Next, an under-the-radar martial arts harem anime, which I'm glad did not get much traffic. But then again, they didn't do as many projects, so when they want to do something good, they do the good. Again, I cannot go too much into detail because, you know, spoilers, but I will leave you with some advice. Remember those I Spy and Where's Waldo's games from your childhood? Well, you're going to need the attention to detail skills with those to pick apart all of the clues from each episode, especially in the openings and endings. I cannot stress this enough. These openings and endings should not be skipped if you're wanting to play at home. It's these kind of mystery mechanics that need to be put in more anime, especially since in Japan it's a good ratings booster, so good for them all around. As for sound, again, I'm in love with the atmospheric tone. Even the freaking sound has clues in it. Not clues like literal, oh, here's a hidden bagel, congrats, you can live for an extra day, but more like the occasional denotes to our situation, and how it's not all that it seems. I just love seeing all this, so you know what? All of you for sound get a cookie. You get a cookie, you get a cookie, you all get a cookie. Now this is another work licensed by Sentai, and while there are no dubs at the time of this video, I got to say they are really getting back into the licensing game lately, racking up various anime. I'd keep my eye on them, Funimation, because when you're sick during your annual School Studios Festival, Right Stuff Senpai could be spending more time with you-know-who. You know what? I believe that because this show is best experienced firsthand, I'm gonna skip after show for today. So we cool? Cool. So on to final thoughts. School life is an amazing journey for various reasons. It's interactive, it's emotional, and its use of old tropes in fun ways makes it an easy standout for last year. Though it kinda lost its footing in the middle, it didn't take away from its overall juicy experience. So after some consideration and 30 minutes chasing after a hat-thieving puppy during lunch, I award School Life with the recommendation to buy it when it comes available in your country, with also a surprising watchability rating of PG-13. This is truly a keeper for those wanting something more out of an anime thanks to its interactive motivations. While a possible DVD version could make the scenes more graphic, the majority of the show is focused on the emotional stasis of characters. In fact, the moe element broadens the type of audience who can really watch this, so that's good on them. For today's recommendations, let's start with the ever so popular Madoka Magica for its similar take on moe gone mad formula. Then there's also the already stated High School of the Dead for its obvious zombie apocalypse scenario. But I think one more recommendation, and granted I could just say the Gurashi series, but instead I'll recommend Kotora-san, since it does have a similar dynamic of school life but in reverse, starting on a sad note and slowly becoming more happy, with sprinkles of sadness put in. Between all that, you should be covered. So that about wraps things up. Just remember to connect to us anywhere on the internet. Don't forget to subscribe. And for today's food item, let's go with bran flakes. I really couldn't tell you why. But until then, if you need me, I will be practicing my swings and reading a good book of fairy tales. Hope to be alive after this. So until then, stay tuned to Anime America.
Want to support the production? Check out our brand new store on Store Envy. For a small price, you can have a one-of-a-kind poster made by yours truly. If you can only give a small amount to help us out, check out our Patreon page. Any amount you wish to give us goes towards our production needs, so anything you can give us helps us a lot. To keep up with the latest in Anime America stuff, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to Anime America for more awesome reviews and top 10 lists. If you're interested in anything in pop culture, be sure to subscribe to Pop Spectrum. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.